Fame hides a lot. Behind the red carpets, the interviews, and the headlines, there's a side of celebrity life we were never meant to see.
The singer Amy Winehouse has been found dead at her flat.
And when a star dies, the spotlight doesn't fade. It shifts to cold reports, medical findings, and the final moments captured on paper. Autopsy reports don't lie. They expose the reality behind the rumors, and sometimes they change everything we thought we knew. This is Shocking Autopsy Details of Famous Celebrities. Few artists have lived two pop lifetimes the way George Michael did. In the 80s, he was the golden boy of Wham, serving up feel-good anthems like Wake Me Up Before You Go-Go and Last Christmas. By the end of the decade, he had reinvented himself as a solo powerhouse with Faith, delivering hits like Father Figure and One More Try. He wasn't just a pop star, he was a generational voice. That's why Christmas Day 2016 hit so hard. Michael was just 53 when his partner, Fadi Fawaz, found him lifeless in bed. His manager insisted he hadn't been ill, leaving fans stunned by the sudden loss. How could someone who seemed so vibrant vanish overnight? The autopsy provided answers, though not the kind anyone expected. Medical examiners ruled that Michael died of dilated cardiomyopathy with myocarditis, heart conditions that weaken and inflame the organ, compounded by a fatty liver. Together, they silently undermined his health until it was too late. The revelation was sobering. The man whose voice filled stadiums, who seemed eternal through music, had been undone not by scandal, but by a failing heart.
Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse seemed born from another era. With her smoky voice and retro style, she drew comparisons to Billie Holiday and Sarah Vaughan while carving her own place in pop history. Her 2006 album Back to Black turned her into a global star. Powered by Rehab, a song that was both a hit and a haunting confession. 5 Grammy Awards followed. But even as her career soared, her struggles with addiction became painfully public. On July 23, 2011, police were called to her London home. Inside, they found Winehouse dead at just 27. The loss placed her alongside the infamous 27 Club, and speculation about what had happened swirled immediately. At first, confusion clouded the case when the coroner overseeing the initial inquiry was found to lack proper credentials. A second inquest brought grim clarity. Winehouse had died of alcohol poisoning. After a period of sobriety, she relapsed, consuming enough alcohol to reach 416 milligrams per deciliter of blood. That level can cause coma, respiratory failure, and death. The voice that sang so powerfully about pain and escape was silenced by the very battle she could never fully win. Johnny Lewis was once on the rise. In the early 2000s, he popped up on Malcolm in the Middle, Smallville, and The O.C., before landing his biggest role as half-sack on Sons of Anarchy. Off-screen, he dated Katy Perry and looked destined for stardom, but by 2012, his life had unraveled. After quitting Sons over its violent storylines, Lewis battled personal demons. He lost custody of his child, racked up arrests for assault, and spent time behind bars. When he got out, his father placed him at the Writer's Villa, a creative retreat run by 81-year-old Catherine Davis. It was meant to be a fresh start. Instead, it became the scene of his downfall. Police arrived after reports of screams and found Lewis dead in the driveway, his skull crushed from a fall or jump. Inside, Davis was discovered murdered, beaten, and strangled. Even her cat hadn't survived. Everyone assumed drugs fueled the violence, but the autopsy revealed no trace of intoxication in Lewis's system. That chilling detail left more questions than answers. How a promising actor spiraled into chaos, and why his final night ended in such horror. Michael K. Williams built a career on complexity. On The Wire, he made Omar Little, a shotgun-wielding stick-up man, one of TV's most unforgettable anti-heroes. He carried that same intensity into Boardwalk Empire, When They See Us in Lovecraft Country, earning Emmy nods and critical acclaim. But off-screen, Williams fought a quieter, more personal battle: addiction. On September 6, 2021, a relative found him face down in his Brooklyn penthouse. He was just 54. Nearby, heroin sat on a table, and the scene suggested what many feared: an overdose. Still, fans clung to hope for something less grim. 3 weeks later, the autopsy removed all doubt. The New York City medical examiner ruled his death acute drug intoxication. Toxicology tests revealed heroin, cocaine, fentanyl, and parafluorofentanyl, a lethal cocktail that overwhelmed his body. The inclusion of fentanyl, a synthetic opioid up to 50 times stronger than heroin, proved especially devastating. For an actor who gave life to characters wrestling with demons, the real-life parallel was heartbreaking. Michael K. Williams left behind a body of work that felt raw, human, and enduring, but his own fight ended in silence. Heath Ledger seemed destined for greatness from the start. After his breakout in 10 Things I Hate About You, he quickly shed the teen idol label, diving into roles that proved his range: The Patriot, A Knight's Tale, and the heartbreaking Brokeback Mountain, which earned him an Oscar nomination. Then came The Dark Knight and his unforgettable Joker. It was a performance so intense it would later win him the Academy Award. But by then, Ledger was already gone. On January 22, 2008, the 28-year-old actor was found unresponsive in his Soho apartment, lying face down near his bed. Empty pill bottles nearby raised suspicions of an overdose. Fans clung to disbelief. How could someone so alive on screen be lost so suddenly? The autopsy delivered the answer. Ledger had died from accidental acute drug intoxication. His system contained a lethal combination of prescription drugs, painkillers oxycodone and hydrocodone, anti-anxiety medication diazepam, sleep aids temazepam and doxylamine, and the sedative alprazolam. Together, the mix overwhelmed his body. The tragedy was stark. An actor whose roles showed brilliance and depth, undone by the very medications he likely turned to for rest. For millions of Disney Channel fans, Cameron Boyce felt like family. He lit up screens as Luke Ross on Jessie, appeared in countless crossover episodes, and played Carlos DeVille, the mischievous son of Cruella, in the hit Descendants films. On the big screen, he held his own alongside Adam Sandler in both grown-ups movies. By his early 20s, Boyce had already built a career most actors only dream of. That's why the news on July 6, 2019, was so devastating. Boyce was found unresponsive in his Southern California home and pronounced dead shortly after. He was just 20. Fans assumed it had to be some tragic accident. Instead, the truth was both simpler and sadder. An autopsy confirmed Boyce had died from a seizure brought on by epilepsy, a condition he had quietly lived with. His death was ruled natural, unexpected, and accidental. There were no drugs, no scandal, no dark twist, only a sudden interruption of a life just beginning. For audiences who grew up watching him, the loss was crushing. Cameron Boyce was more than a Disney star. He was proof of a future that will never be. Bubba Smith was larger than life, both on the field and on screen. A dominant defensive end, he won Super Bowl V with the Baltimore Colts, earned 2 Pro Bowl selections, and later played for the Raiders and Oilers. When he retired in 1976, he reinvented himself as an actor, most famously as Moses Hightower in Police Academy. Quiet but commanding, he became as beloved in comedy as he had been in football. In August 2011, Smith was found dead in his Los Angeles home at 66. The suddenness demanded answers, and the coroner's autopsy revealed a troubling mix of causes. Officially, he died of acute drug intoxication from phentermine, a prescription weight loss pill. But that was only part of the picture. Doctors found his heart was nearly twice its normal size, weakened by high blood pressure and clogged arteries. And when researchers later examined his brain, they discovered signs of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, the degenerative condition plaguing so many former football players. The findings painted a tragic portrait. Smith had survived the brutality of the NFL, only to fall victim to hidden damage that followed him long after the game ended. Natalie Wood grew up on screen. By 9, she was stealing scenes in Miracle on 34th Street. As a teen, she co-starred in Rebel Without a Cause. By her early 20s, she was the radiant face of West Side Story. For decades, she seemed untouchable, a star who had conquered every stage of life. But in November 1981, her story took a dark and mysterious turn. Wood, then 43, was aboard her yacht, the Splendor, off the coast of Southern California with her husband Robert Wagner and actor Christopher Walken. After a night of arguments and drinking, she disappeared. Hours later, lifeguards recovered her body near Catalina Island. The coroner ruled it an accidental drowning. But the case never truly closed. In 2011, investigators reopened it after new testimony suggested her final hours weren't so simple. Her death certificate was later amended from accidental drowning to drowning and other undetermined factors. Autopsy findings revealed bruises and abrasions on her body, injuries that likely occurred before she entered the water. To this day, debate lingers. Was it a tragic accident or something more sinister? Natalie Wood's death remains one of Hollywood's most haunting mysteries. For more than a decade, Anna Nicole Smith was impossible to ignore. She modeled for Guess Jeans, graced the pages of Playboy, married an oil tycoon more than 60 years older, and starred in her own reality series, The Anna Nicole Show. Her life was spectacle and millions watched every twist. But in February 2007, the final act came suddenly and tragically. On February 8th, Smith was found unconscious in her Florida hotel room by her personal nurse. She was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save her. At just 39, she was gone. Rumors spread instantly: flu, illness, exhaustion, while police carted out bags of evidence from her suite. The autopsy left no doubt. Smith had died from an accidental drug overdose, a toxic mix of at least 9 medications. Investigators found 11 prescription bottles in her room, emptied of more than 600 pills, including muscle relaxants and Valium. Dozens more prescriptions were uncovered at her Bahamas home, ranging from painkillers to sleeping pills. The revelation was staggering. A woman whose life was always larger than life had been undone not by scandal, but by the sheer weight of her prescriptions. Lucille Ball wasn't just a star, she was television's first true queen. With I Love Lucy, she and Desi Arnaz practically invented the sitcom, blending slapstick and heart in a way that set the template for decades to come. She followed with The Lucy Show and Here's Lucy, and even dabbled in movies and producing before one last small-screen run in the 80s. For generations, Lucy wasn't just comedy, she was comfort. But in April 1989, her story reached a tragic final chapter. Ball underwent a grueling 6-hour heart surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center to replace a valve and part of her aorta. At first, it seemed successful. She was walking, eating, and recovering. Then, just 8 days later, she collapsed. Doctors discovered her aorta had ruptured in a section untouched by surgery. After 47 minutes of revival attempts, the 77-year-old legend was gone. Forensic experts later suggested her heart had long been under strain. possibly worsened by prescribed use of amyl nitrate, originally intended for chest pain. In the end, the woman who made the world laugh died of a hidden rupture no one could repair. They lived in the spotlight, but their final moments were recorded in silence by coroners and pathologists, not fans or cameras. Autopsy reports don't just reveal how someone died. They remind us that behind the fame was a body, a struggle, a story, sometimes darker than we ever imagined. Which report surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let us know if you want a part 2. Hit like, subscribe, and join us as we uncover the hidden side of celebrity lives and deaths. Thank you for watching.